Just after Y2K in October 2000, Canadian pop artist Nelly Furtado unleashed her debut album Whoa, Nelly, which has just been pressed on vinyl for the first time ever, and I'm going to be going back and reflecting on the record, unboxing it, and also, of course, reviewing the album. Hey neighbor, welcome back to the channel. My name is John. I'm excited to have an excuse to talk about Nelly Furtado and her debut album, Whoa, Nelly. We're gonna unbox the vinyl. This is a cool colored set that her team was kind enough to send out to me. And of course, I wanted to talk about the album at large. It's kind of trip-hop meets folk, meets pop, meets bossa nova, meets world music. It's got a little bit of everything, and not enough people remember it. Going back and listening to Whoa, Nelly made me realize how much I underappreciated her talents, and many of you may know her for tracks like Say It Right, her collaborations with Timbaland, Maneater, there was Promiscuous, which was huge. And I wouldn't blame you if the only song you knew on Whoa, Nelly was I'm Like a Bird. It's a classic, it's a pop staple, it's a fantastic gem of a tune, but there's so much packed in here that transcends the idea of just pop singles. Nice and gently, we're gonna unbox this thing and get the plastic shrink wrap off of here. This record is actually the deluxe version of it, which is exciting because as you can see from the back track list, that means it has additional songs. It's got a Timbaland rework of Turn On the Light, which is an amazing cut. I said turn on the light, I meant turn off the light. Is it not kind of wild that this is the first time this album's been out on vinyl? It sold millions of copies. Like I said, it's kind of forgotten in a way, but it's only 25 years old. It's an album that deserves to be heard. I like that they did this on the gatefold, and also, if you'll notice, it's slightly different from the initial green, all green cover of Whoa, Nelly. I like the fact that the pink gives it a little bit more of a contrast around the edges and with the font choices. I'm excited to see what the actual vinyl itself looks like, what the individual discs are, because we've got two different colors. And the first disc is a beautiful hot pink. Look at this thing. This is a really nice deep pink here. It's almost translucent, but not entirely. Maybe it's fitting that disc 2 kind of has this orange swirl. It reminds me of a Bring Me the Horizon record that I have actually. It's done really well. You can see the clouded portions in there if you get really close. Maybe when we flip it over, it pops out a little bit more. But I like when albums do that with the deluxe gatefolds. Actually have two different colors. The vinyl is available now. I've got my hands on it. You guys can get a copy too if you want. It's in the pinned comment or the description. Maybe for the review portion, we just maybe we swap those out and put Nelly in the limelight. Like I said at the top of the video, Nelly Furtado, I find at this point in her career to be extremely overlooked, underrated. Her talents are undeniable, both vocally and with the ear that she has for melody that immediately pops out on some of this album, Whoa, Nelly's most prominent singles, and even some of the deep cuts as well. This is by no means a flawless debut album, but Whoa, Nelly has so much of a lived-in feel that it makes it a comfort album. Turn Off the Light solidified the fact that she could kind of make a sexier type of track that really comes together with some great uses of acoustic guitar. I love the range of instrumentation, the bossa nova influences, the Latin influence that she pulls from. It makes this album feel so well-rounded. The album opens up with Hey Man, which is easily one of Nelly's biggest bangers. It's so well written, the poise, the tact, the instrumentation. Shit on the Radio, Remember the Days, and the parentheses, that's the refrain that pops up throughout, is so relentlessly addicting and effervescent in its own way. I'm Like a Bird, another massive single that just never gets old. It stood the test of time because it's that unchained melody that our hearts kind of desire always. When this album really starts taking some risks, I'm talking like the night crawling track My Love Grows Deeper Part 1 towards the end of the album. Even songs like Legend and Party, ones that for years I just didn't really have much of a connection to, when I was revisiting the album for this review, I found that I was getting a glimpse into a different side of a budding artist that clearly had visions that went beyond what really worked for radio at the time. Nelly Furtado became a household name not just in her home country, Canada, really all of North America, and by the time Loose was out in 2006, it was more of a global superstar thing. So I'm not gonna say that Nelly is the most underrated artist ever in the pop market of the 21st century, anything there, but she deserves to be in the conversation a lot more than she is. To me, this feels like an album that you would want to wake up to. It's just soothing, it hits the right spots, at times it wanders, it gets a little bit lost in space and redundant, but for the most part, her and her collaborators really rein things in to make this 50 or so minute experience feel like it goes by a lot faster. I hope that you guys will check out this album if you've never heard it before. If you have, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. And as far as my personal rating, I'm gonna give this a strong 4 out of 5. There's a link down below if you guys would like to grab a copy of the colored vinyl for yourself. I am really stoked to have this in my collection now. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. I know this one was a little bit out of left field, but I'm glad that I got to do it. Subscribe for the love of music, and I'll see you soon on Beyond ARTV.